What's up, y'all? It is Tasha, and we are back for Decision Day. We've been waiting for Decision Day since probably week 3 or 4. It's been a very, very long season with Married at First Sight, and I'm so happy that they kind of got straight to the point for the most part as they could with the decisions that we found out tonight. So, y'all, let's jump into it. You already know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and let's jump into the couples tonight. All right, so season 13, episode 17, it is Decision Day finally, because of course I had already planned to go couple by couple this review, since that would be easier, but they actually did that. They didn't jump all over the place from between the couples, so that made it pretty easy to keep track of everything that was going on. So the show opens up with everybody getting up, getting ready for Decision Day. So let's get this party started. First up is Gil and Mirla, and Gil shows us his little baby shower suit that he has on, and Mirla is in her little cute dress with her red bottoms. The whole outfit, that shirt, dress, boots, absolutely love. But the eye makeup, Mirla, what was going on? You say you don't like a whole lot of makeup. You said that during the wedding. And then now you come here with this deep, red, burgundy, purple. I don't even know what the situation was, but outfit was giving real daytime. Eyeshadow was giving real nighttime and raccoonish. Wasn't a good look, but we gonna move on from there. So they have to replay everything that has gone throughout the season. Waste of time for every single couple. Pastor Cal asks how they're feeling, and Gil says he's feeling good, and Mirla says she's confident. Mirla now shares that the wedding was terrible because she never really wanted a wedding, and she hates meeting new people. And I'm like, well, Mirla, did you expect the stranger that you would meet to not be a stranger, or his family not to be strangers because you don't like meeting new people? You see how that worked out for Bao and Johnny, right? All right, let's move on. Dr. Viviana asks them about physical and emotional intimacy, and Mirla says things have progressed well over the 8 weeks. She's like pretty much like 0 to 100, and Gil is like, no, not really. Maybe like from 0 to like 45, and then maybe from 45 to 100 over time, but not 0 to 100. Dr. Pepper asks if they've consummated the marriage, and what I tell y'all, I think that was last week or a couple weeks ago, that Mirla was getting real touchy-feely and all over Gil, and I'm like, I think they'd be smashing. And Gil was like, yes, we consummated the marriage 2 or 3 weeks ago, even though Mirla still tried to lie about it. Mirla, you ain't got to lie. You ain't got to lie, Craig. We don't care. Y'all married. Get it in. Pastor Cal then asks if the ring that Mirla had on was her wedding ring, and she's like, God, no, because that wedding ring is ugly. And I'm like, Mirla, let's not go backwards, honey. You really have done pretty much a 180 from the beginning, and you were doing so well. You made such progress, and then you come back around and you telling us you ain't like the wedding. Your wedding ring is ugly. Like, then we are at the home stretch at this point, Mirla. Can we just make it through the Decision Day, girl? We've done so well. Let's just make it there. So we have to rehash for the 100th time her being moody, the differences in their finances. Like, we have heard it all season. Shut up already about it. I'm tired of hearing it. Mirla wants to be a millionaire. Gil wants to be a thousandaire, and he's totally fine with that. Dr. V asks if the experts were wrong because they thought that the amount of commitment and love they were both able to give, that they would choose that over the discrepancy in pay. And of course, y'all know Mirla is straight shooting. She ain't gonna miss. And she says, yeah, I think you were wrong. She says how they, choose to live their life very differently. And Dr. V tries to say the desire for more is there for both of them. And I'm like, I don't think the desire for more is necessarily there for Gil. If more comes, I think he would accept it. But I don't think he has the drive to go out there and just want to get more, versus Mirla actually wants to go out there and accumulate more. Mirla says in the end that she enjoys being with him every day. She's happy he's the first person she gets to talk to. She says that he does the things that he does every day shows his commitment to her. And based on the past 8 weeks, she didn't think that she would get everything that she had asked for in a spouse. Gail says over the last several weeks, things have been a growing experience for him and he's enjoyed everything, but they are two different people when it comes to their drive for life. And I'm like, can y'all just spit it out already? So he does tell her that he's actually in love with her. He's in love with her passion, respects her hustle, and he wants someone to test and push him. So he says, yes, they want to stay married, and they kiss, and we move on to the next couple. Next couple is Johnny and Bao, and they replay their package. And honestly, y'all, I use this as a chance to get myself a glass of wine because I knew we was going to need it with these two. I knew it. So Bao comes in with her little red dress, and I'm like, was this the same little red dress she had on when they had maybe their last date at the apartment? I don't know, but it looks real familiar. Johnny comes in with his furniture salesman suit. Pepper asks if they were to talk about this experience, what would they say? Bao says that there were more highs than lows and the wedding was great and the skydiving for their 1-month anniversary was really great. Johnny says the things that make him feel warm and fuzzy were the unplanned day-to-day moments that he loved, and it would give him some hope, and it really made him the happiest. And I'm just like, so those were very few and far in between. So you were happy maybe 5 days out of the 8 weeks of the whole experiment? Okay, if you say so. When asked, the biggest challenges for Bao was knowing how to communicate effectively and trying to figure out what was going wrong. Johnny said that a challenge was he would not have ran, as he's done plenty of times in the past. And I was like, well, Johnny, how was that really a challenge? Because you still ran in this relationship. So I'm not sure how that was a challenge for you when you still did it. And definitely Dr. Viviana asked Bao if she agrees, and she says no, because he's been running. And I'm like, agreed. We've seen him run the entire season. So how is this exactly different than everything else that you've done in previous relationships? Nothing. Okay. Bao says that there have been moments in the marriage where she feels like she has lost her voice, especially in those heated arguments. And Johnny truly looks confused in this moment. And I'm like, I don't know why you look so confused, as if y'all have not had plenty of heated arguments going on. He says he feels that their arguments have not escalated to that extent, and he doesn't raise his voice, and he really does more listening than talking. And I'm like, have we been watching the same show? Have we been watching a different reality than you have been living, Johnny? Like, these are truly questions that need answers, because just because you speak in an even tone does not mean the nasty, vile things that are coming out of your mouth hurt even less. Whatever. Johnny says he feels like she always wants to be right and wants to place the blame on someone. Dr. Pepper brings up the conversation he had with Sarah, and he does apologize to Bao, saying that he was feeling distraught, and he felt that she was the only person who would understand. She felt betrayed, as she should, and Johnny basically says that he clung on to it because basically Sarah gave him confirmation of what he wanted to hear, because he basically just needed somebody to agree with him and to be on his side about how he felt about Bao. So I do appreciate his apology in this moment, but little, too late for this. And then here comes Pastor Cal talking about y'all are a good looking couple, blah, blah, blah. And I'm so over Pastor Cal always bringing in the looks when it comes to couples looking great together. Looks fade, sir. And looks are not everything. So if that's all they got to go on, they're not going to make it. And clearly they're not going to make it. So I'm just like, can you please stop saying it? Because just because two people looks good together does not mean there's enough substance in emotional and physical intimacy for it to make a long-lasting relationship, sir. Cut it out. We see ugly men with beautiful women every day. So now it's time for the decision, and Johnny says it's difficult, and I really don't understand why, because I mean, you literally said you wish you were paired with anyone, literally anyone other than her. So I'm like, can we just spit it out, because this should not be a difficult situation for you at all. And this fool ends up saying yes. And he says yes as if it's like your parents looking at you and saying, make a decision. Are we leaving the house and are we going here or going there? And we're like, yes, we're going. He says yes in that is as if somebody popped him on the back of the head and said, say yes and spit it out, because that's what you need to say. And I'm like, why did you? I was not expecting that. And I still don't really understand why he said it, based off of everything that he has said the entire 8 weeks and how he basically does not like Bao. So why do you really want to continue to try? Anyway, Bao says that she thought for sure she knew what her decision was coming into the day, and she didn't anticipate how hard it would be. And of course, they go to the commercial break to keep it real dramatic. And at this time, I realized that, and I know they won't do it, but it will be helpful for them moving forward to really get the decisions from the couples as individuals, like for them to really talk to them, because I feel like looking at the person and sometimes hearing what they say, while you should be firm in your decision, could possibly influence what you want to say. And I would rather it be like real of, no, I felt what I felt. I slept on it without my spouse being there. And this is still what I feel. And I don't want this to happen. So really for them to make their decisions separately to the experts, and then they can come together and share whatever that is without doing this whole, we had great times and I really would love to have seen, where this goes. And I really got into this because I wanted to find my spouse. But unfortunately, like, we don't need all the dramatics of it all. And I think people could really be a little bit more vulnerable if the other person really wasn't sitting right there next to them and they had to make this hard decision. Just my thoughts. No, it ain't gonna happen, but my 2 cents. Anyway, then when it comes back, Bao comes back and she's like, no, I have to say no. I want a divorce. And I am so proud of her for standing up for herself and really not falling for Johnny's BS. And I can almost guarantee that if she would have gone first and she said no, then Johnny would have definitely said no, because he would have felt more comfortable in saying the no and not looking like the bad guy and probably hurting her feelings yet again by saying no. That if she had said it first, it would have eased the blow. So I think that's why he probably said yes initially. So it can't be like, well, I'm not the one that said no, I didn't want to stay married. She was the one that said it, just to kind of play role reversal of how it's been the entire time of them being together with him walking. But I'm just like, whatever. Johnny then, is in a confessional. He's like, was the marriage that bad? Could it really have been something we couldn't have worked on? And I'm like, Johnny, what do you mean? Again, have we been seeing a different reality than they have been living? Because you treated her like trash the entire time and you're unsure why she said no? Get away from me with this. Next up, we see Brent and Ryan, and I'm really not even sure why we are here for Brent and Ryan, because I thought we had this wrapped up a couple weeks ago. Pretty much maybe we had this wrapped up from the honeymoon of y'all not staying together, but here we are with the dramatics of Decision Day. I fast forwarded completely through their package, y'all. I'm sorry, I did not need to see their boring selves all over again. Brent comes into the room with a fresh dye job, and she got the girl sitting on display to be ready to tell you no and let you see her walk away all fine. I'm here for it, honey. And then Ryan comes in and he's like, oh God, this is nerve-wracking. No matter, how ready you are, it's just so nerve-wracking. Why is it nerve-wracking? You downloaded the app a couple days ago. Why is this nerve-wracking for you? Whatever. When asked about the best part of the marriage, Ryan says that they were quick-witted and they had great banter. And I'm like, so when did you guys talk? Brent says that he's very caring and they had a good time together. And I said, child, I must have missed a whole segment or episode or something going on with Brent and Ryan, because I don't remember them having a whole bunch of good times or having a whole bunch of banter and good conversations. But honey, maybe I missed it. Y'all just let me know. Brent says that no, and then Dr. Pepper gets the party started and she brings up the dating app to Ryan. And I was like, yes, Dr. Pepper, we not going to let this just float on under the rug. Bring it up. Bring it up. Why did you download the dating app? So he apologizes yet again. We don't believe you, sir. We don't care at this moment. But as he's like apologizing for having it and her having to find out, Brent just looks completely disgusted. And I don't blame her at this point, because she's like, we know why we're here. It's for the schematics. We're both going to say no. Let's just say that. And let's be able to move on. Okay, so then I can probably go on a date on this cute dress that I already got on. Sounds like a plan to me. When asked why, he says that he had an initial connection. But, I am 35 and, I have a type. So you basically download the app because Brent was not your type, when obviously you came on this show because your type wasn't working and getting you into the long-lasting relationship turned marriage that you really wanted, but you still want to stick with the type that you have. Okay. He says he wanted to come out of this experiment married more than anything. And I said, no, you wanted to come out of this experiment with a supermodel wife. And if it was anything other than that, you weren't interested. Point blank, period. Pastor Cal thinks that there's anything Britt could have done. And I'm just like, Pastor Cal, it does not matter. Britt is not responsible for his ugly behavior. But anyways, Pastor Cal lists off all these attributes of Britt, which I did appreciate. But yet we really don't hear or get to see a response from Ryan about everything that Pastor Cal has said. Brent says she does not think that Ryan was ready to get married when Dr. Viviana asks her. And Ryan says he could have done a better job at addressing the uncomfortable conversations, and he wished he didn't leave her wondering. And I'm like, you thought you left her wondering, but I felt like in Brent's confessional, she pretty much knew how he felt, even though he didn't come outright and say those things. So whatever, Ryan. So now they make their decisions, which we already know. She says no, he agrees with it, but yet he gets emotional as if he is shocking or as if he tried in this relationship. And I'm just not sure between him and Johnny why they kind of got choked up or felt shocked by the reactions of their wives not to want to stay married. Like, y'all were trash husbands. Who would voluntarily want to stay with that when you have the option to leave? Next up is Michaela and Zach, y'all. All right, so Michaela comes in with her chic cowgirl outfit, lips, hair, on point. Zach showing up, showing us his ankles. Michaela says she feels relieved that they've made it to decision day, and that her version of the marriage was that this was really a big learning lesson for her. When asked about the good times in the marriage, Zach pulls out a piece of paper and inserts dramatics of actually reading the letter. Dr. Pepper's like, is that your decision or is that the good times of the marriage? He says all these good things in the letter that I'm like, I feel the gaslighting coming on. I can feel it in my bones and in my spirit that this is the setup. But let's go ahead, Zachary. He says he sees this day as the beginning for them, and really everything was worth it. He would not change a single thing. He thanks her for loving him and says that he loves her too. And I'm like, WTF? We're back in the Twilight Zone with these people. She says that hearing him say that shows he really cares, and he has some thoughts and feelings that he may not have been able to express throughout the experiment. Zach says he is just happy in the moment and very thankful, and then cries and snots up the whole situation. He then says, outside of his mom, she's the most amazing woman that he knows. I said, so that means your mama got a little crazy in her, just like Michaela too? I don't know. He says that all of her actions have matched her words, and Michaela says that they have learned to overcome the ceasefire. And I'm like, have y'all learned this in the past 2 days? Because at this point, I'm completely confused as to where we are going with the two of them, because the math is not mathing at this point. So we start to get to the decision. Michaela says she wants to stay married to see what the future looks like. And immediately when the camera pans to Zach, Zach has this smirk for a second on his face, and he's like, my plan worked. I was able to get her to say yes, so then I can turn around and say no. And sure enough, he says he wants to get a divorce. And I am like, boy, bye, get out of my face with this. And this probably would have been the one time, if she would have reached over and smacked him right on in the face or the back of the head, I would have had absolutely no problem with her doing that. You're going to feed her all of this BS minutes before you need to make a decision. And then the decision you tell her is that you want to get a divorce. And then he says he wants to divorce the past 8 weeks that they have been through, really, but really it's not necessarily the relationship. It's him divorcing the past 8 weeks that they have gone through. Like that's the past. And I'm sitting here, I'm still just as confused as I was the initial time he brought this whole, if we get divorced, we can still date afterwards. I was confused then, and I'm still confused now as he brings up this situation yet again. Pastor Cal says, so you're putting a nail in a coffin without realizing it. And he looks confused as if I'm making all this sense. Why don't y'all understand what the heck I'm saying? I want to divorce her, but I still want to date her and slap those cheeks whenever I feel like it. That's what I'm saying. So Michaela asks if he wants to stay married with her going forward, because she just wants a yes or no. The experts just want a yes or no. We all just want a yes or a no. And he says no. But again, he means that isn't changing the past. That's letting go of the past. And we are still confused because you can't, even if you move forward, you can't let go of the past happened. It was a lesson learned if you do decide to move forward. So it's not just that it wasn't a figment of our imagination, Zach. Like, he says that he guess he's being selfish because it's more for him to feel better mentally. Pastor Cal tries to get him to understand the impact of what he is saying, and I really wish they would just leave it alone. Leave it alone as him saying no, and they could still potentially date if it makes sense to him. And Michaela's like, I heard a no, and that's all I need to hear. And everybody's clear on what is going on besides Zachary. Just let it go. Just let it go at this point. And Zach then says that she must have forgot what he meant because he thought they were on the same page. And I'm like, but Zach, you still not making sense. So we hear the words that are coming out of your mouth, but the words that are coming out of your mouth don't make no damn sense, sir. That's where all of our wires are crossed. But anyway, he ends up walking out. She hugs it out with the experts and then leaves. And then Dr. V, after they're gone, says he was trying to be a good guy and still be friends. And I'm like, yeah, y'all ain't friends. Y'all ex-spouses, divorcees, whatever you want to call it. Y'all ain't together no more. We then see Jose and Rachel, the delusional Rachel and her Fashion Nova hot girl summer dress. And then we see the Reverend Jose with his little clip on his tie and everything. Look at the little man go. Yeah, I was so close to just fast forwarding their entire situation to just see if they said yes or no at the end. Because I know we were just going to hear more lies and more fluff between the two of them. And we all knew both of them were going to end up saying yes. But I digress. They talk about Deadbolt Gate once again, and Rachel says that was a red flag because it was a character flaw, and I'm like, and it is, and it will happen again, but continue to live in La La Land if you want to. Pastor Cal says it was good that they talked about it, and he valued, and that Jose valued her more than being right. And I'm like, Pastor Cal, did you watch the episodes? Did you get the play-by-play of how she had to pull an apology out of this man as if it was pulling the back molars of his mouth? Sir, no. He did not value her more than being right. I am so over Pastor Cal this season. Dr. Pepper asks if he trusts his wife, and again, he's here to play the victim and says, he's afraid that when shit gets tough, she will just leave. And I'm like, Jose, I wish you would stop it. Things did not get tough and she left. You locked the door and she could not get in to the apartment. That's why she left. Anyway, they talk. I really don't care what they had to say about each other. He says yes. She says yes. They'll live happily ever after, at least for the next 8 months, and then they'll get divorced. The episode goes off with everyone meeting back up post-decision day, and I'm like, this seems real awkward. Like, this just happened, and we got to see the person that we said no, we want to be married to so quickly yet again. So Jose, Rachel, Gil, and Mirla, of course, all share that they decided they wanted to stay married, and Gil has to announce to the table that they have consummated the marriage. And I'm like, great, thank you, Gil, because they asked, and I guess you had to tell them, but nobody asked. But okay, let's just share our business at this point. Brennan and Ryan revealed that they say no. Duh. Michaela starts talking, and Zach immediately starts looking stressed and said decision day was the worst day of the whole 8 weeks. And he still keeps talking about this whole stupid concept of decision day didn't matter and they would still be talking. Michaela says she respects his decision. And Brent is basically speaking for all of us in the moment when she says, as long as y'all are happy, it doesn't matter. We are all confused and have whiplash and we don't know what's going on. Y'all got it. We don't care anymore at this point. And of course, Johnny shares that he said yes. And she said no because Bob was like, it's a little too late. And I'm like, yes, it was. Ryan says he is shocked that Bao and Johnny didn't work. And I'm like, how are you shocked when you and Johnny would have pretty frequent one-on-one conversations and he would be complaining about Bao? So again, how are you shocked that these two didn't live happily ever after? He didn't like the poor child. Oh God, all these people need counseling in Jesus, child. But I know it won't happen. But as I'm sitting here watching them and really reflecting on the entire season, I really wish, along with them, making their decisions separately, I really wish once they decide maybe who they want to participate in the show, that they will like do an intensive 30 to 60 day one-on-one counseling with these people to really try to see where they are mentally, see if they truly are ready for marriage, just not based on I'm financially stable, I've dated around, I can't find the right person. No, we need to get real counselors involved at the very beginning to see where these people heads are, and then let them make the decision on if yes, this person is appropriate to move on with this show, or no, this person has some more individual work that they actually need to get done before they need to get married and share their life with someone else. Like that may be able to help alleviate a whole lot of situations, and maybe have a little bit more of a success rate with people not only saying yes on decision day, but then actually staying married long term, because that's a whole different situation, a conversation that Married at First Sight probably ain't ready to have. But anyway, next week we do have the reunion, which I am excited about seeing. And I was like, Gil, come through with the beard gang. He looks so much better with that. Looks like there's some more walking out with Michaela and Zach. And of course, they better bring up this whole Zach and Bao rumor that's been going on for the past several weeks. But y'all, we'll be back hopefully one last time next week for the reunion. And then we can wrap up season 13 in a nice little bow. And I guess we'll move on to more crazy in the next season, which I'm sure will not be far long. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all know the drill. Leave the comments below so we can chat it up and give me your thoughts. We pretty much predicted exactly how it played out. So let me know how y'all feel about the episode this week, and I'll catch you later. Peace.